Hello and welcome to Astranti's SES Industry Analysis. My name is Milo and I've created this document over the last couple of weeks in order to teach you all that you need to know about the luxury watch industry. Now before we start, I'd just like to make it clear that I won't be covering everything in this video. Instead, I'll be picking out those key points that I believe will be of the most help to you in the exam. Here you will see me skipping over a few things. This part here is the history of the watch going back a good couple of hundred years. I would certainly recommend you reading through this in your own time so you can contextualize all those different things that happen within the industry. There are a couple of things here that I would like you to take note of. The first is that in the 70s and 80s there was this quartz crisis, as it became known, which is when Japan and other Asian countries started to introduce battery powered technology into their watches. Before this point, all watches had been mechanical. Not only were these quartz watches a lot cheaper to make, but they were also a lot more accurate, and this was a big problem for the luxury watch industry. The effect of this was huge, and it almost completely decimated the mechanical watch industry in Europe. In Switzerland, for instance, before the 70s, there were around 1,600 mechanical watch manufacturers. By the 80s, there were around 600. Thankfully though, the watch industry did recover, and throughout the 90s and 2000s, people started to realise that quartz watches just didn't give the same kind of feeling that the mechanical one did. There wasn't so much, they just weren't so impressive. The craftsmanship that goes into making a mechanical watch is unrivaled. So then, after all this had blown over, and we get to around 2015, we once again have the introduction of disruptive technology. In this instance, it was smartwatches created by technological giants such as Apple and Samsung. Some people really did believe that this was the end of the mechanical watch industry, but that just wasn't the case. The industry had already been dealing with a sluggish global economic growth and declining tourism, and this was what really caused this drop in sales for the luxury watch industry. It wasn't too much to do with smart watches, and we'll cover this a bit more later in the document. As you'll see down here, I've compiled a number of figures which really help to demonstrate what was going on during this time. In this first one here, you can see how in 2016 the market for luxury watches really was looking in quite bad state. There was quite a substantial decline in 4 out of the 5 major markets for Swiss watches. As you can see here, there was a decline in the sale of watches across the globe. Now, moving on, let's take a look at the top watch brands. Many of these will be quite familiar to you. As you can see here, we've got the likes of Rolex, Omega, Hublot and Breitling. All of these are massive companies in the industry. What some of you might not be very familiar with is the fact that lots of these brands are part of huge conglomerates that dominate the luxury industry, not just what. If you look at this table here, I've sorted all of this out for you and highlighted the major brands, the major luxury watch brands in each group. A notable company that you won't see in any of these groups is Rolex, and that is because it's still an independent company. It's in quite a strange situation in that it's a private trust, so it's not run like an ordinary company. That will be explained later in this document. Now let's consider how exactly this all applies to Steelcast. That's what's really going to get us these points, is by referring back to the pre-scene. The disruptive technology shows a need to be adaptable and to be able to respond quickly to any changes in customer demands and trends. Rolex, for instance, established a sister company that has a very different demographic to the one that Rolex goes for. Similarly, Tag Heuer even created a smartwatch once Apple had released theirs in order to try and compete in this new market. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that I haven't covered everything in that section and really would suggest that you read through the rest in your own time. But for now, we're going to skip over a few more parts and go to customers and marketing. Now, you might think that the customer part is quite simple, really. They're just focusing on the rich people. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. The customers of luxury watches are not just rich, but they tend to be educated, upward mobile and sophisticated men who can have some very different motives for buying luxury watches. I'm sorry about the quality of this image here, but it is very helpful in determining why different people go for different watches. Some are connoisseurs and appreciate the mechanisms within the watches. Others use the watches for practical reasons, such as Rolex has the Yachtmaster, and obviously that is used for yacht racing and sailing. Other people use them because they're fashionable, and these tend to be branded watches such as Chanel and Gucci. And the same kind of reason applies for jewellery as well. If we think back to the pre-scene, we would put the Steelcast customers in this kind of box, the connoisseurs and the sports, because we're told within the pre-scene that it's sailors and aviators that traditionally have used Steelcast watches. But there's also a lot of people that enjoy the mechanisms and the mechanical aspect of the watches as well. So in this sense, they'll be competing with the likes of IWC, Tag Heuer and other quite notable brands. So where is it that you can find these customers? Perhaps unsurprisingly, the place where you'll find the most luxury watches also happens to be the places in which there are the most millionaires. If you take a look at this list here, we can see the United States has the most millionaires in the world as of 2015, followed by the United Kingdom, Japan, France, Germany, China. If we then look down here at this list of the largest importers of Swiss watches, we can see some very distinct similarities. Again, the USA at the top, followed by Hong Kong, Italy, Japan, France, the United Kingdom and China. Now it follows that if Steelcast want to be successful, they're going to have to compete in these markets. But there are also alternatives. If we look here at this graph of the world's fastest growing economies, we can see that the likes of Ethiopia, Uzbekistan, Nepal and India are all growing at a very rapid rate. And if their economies are growing, that means the amount of rich people in those countries is also increasing, and they may wish to buy a luxury watch to solidify themselves at the top of the society. If Steelcast can enter these markets quickly, they could monopolise them, increasing their revenues hugely. Astranti case study courses include a wide variety of learning materials that have been expertly crafted to ensure that you have the best possible opportunity of passing your exams. The study text comes in two parts. The first covers every aspect of the exam from every possible angle and teaches you exactly how you can prepare for it. We go into great depth on the pre-scene analysis, how to manage your time and precisely what the exam will involve. The second part is a condensed, manageable textbook covering all the key theories and models you must know in order to pass. We also provide course videos in which CIMA tutor and case study exam expert Nick Best gives you the advice and tips on all the key areas of the exam, using his many experience. We also provide course videos in which CIMA tutor and case study exam expert Nick Best gives you advice and tips on all the key areas of the exam, using his many years of experience to give you precise instructions on what you need to do to pass this paper. The pre-scene analysis is a paragraph by paragraph video guide to the pre-scene, picking up all the key issues from examining how they relate to the company in question and what you need to do with that information. The pre-scene analysis is a paragraph by paragraph video guide. The pre-scene analysis is a paragraph by paragraph video guide to the pre-scene, picking up all the key issues from examining how they relate to the company in question and what you need to do with that information. Accompanying the pre-scene analysis is the industry analysis, which compares the fictional company to a similar real-life organisation, giving you all the necessary industry information. Accompanying the pre-scene analysis is the industry analysis, which compares the fictional company to a similar real-life organisation, giving you all the necessary information regarding the industry, ensuring you meet the expectations of the examiner. The industry analysis also includes both a written document and a 3-part video series. By joining our case study course, you will have access to 5 full mock exams, which will be marked by a qualified and experienced team of markers. We pride ourselves in providing industry-leading levels of feedback on your mock exams using our unique marking checklist. You will see each mock exam marked on the same checklist, so you can compare each mock and see in which areas you continue to fall behind, enabling you to clarify where and how you need to improve. Our masterclasses are live, all-day exam-focused events that are hosted online and are recorded for students that cannot attend live. Masterclass 1 focus on the keys to passing the case study exam. Our masterclasses are live, all-day exam-focused events that are hosted online and are recorded for students that cannot attend live. Our masterclasses are live, all-day exam-focused events that are hosted online and are recorded for students that cannot attend live. Masterclass 1 focuses on the keys to passing the case study and takes you through topic. Masterclass 1 focuses on the keys to passing the case study exam and takes you through topics such as Masterclass 1 focuses on the keys to passing the case study exam and takes you through topics such as what the examiner says you must do to pass, skills of effective planning, and the 10 models most likely to be examined on the current pre-scene. Masterclass 2 is the revision masterclass and focuses on subjects like what the examiner is saying are students' key mistakes, identifying your key areas for improvement to score more marks on the exam day, and much more. If you complete the full course and still don't pass the real exam, you can continue with us on to the next course at no additional charge. We're very confident that people who complete the full course will pass, but as long as you continue to complete subsequent... If you complete the full course and still don't pass the real exam, you can continue with us to the next course at no additional charge. We're very confident that the people who complete the whole course will pass, but as long as you can If you complete the full course and still don't pass the real exam, you can continue with us onto the next course at no additional charge. We're very confident that people who complete the whole course will pass, but as long as you can continue to complete If you complete the full course and still don't pass the real exam, you can continue with us to the next course at no additional charge. We're very confident that people who complete the full course will pass, but as long as you continue to complete subsequent courses, you can also continue at no additional charge, ensuring this is the last fee you'll ever have to pay for passing your exam.